Hey guys, my name is Sabrina. Welcome to my channel. This is my first official video, I guess. I posted videos to YouTube before, but nothing tutorial like or vlog like. It's all just kind of been me singing or doing random things with my sister. So in this video, we're gonna go ahead and get ready together. This is the look that you're gonna wind up seeing. I use quite a few different palettes, quite a few different things. None of these are sponsored. This video is not sponsored by any of these. I do mention some of my favorite YouTubers for beauty, so be sure to check them out because they have been super helpful in me learning kind of what I've learned so far. Now, also what you'll see in this video is something I never do. I never show myself without makeup, ever. Ever. I have always struggled with acne ever since I was 9 years old, and it just kind of stuck with me. I have tried everything from different diet habits, different cleansers, different spot treatments. Like I've tried it all, masks, all of it. And it turns out that I have hormonal acne, so it's primarily based right around my chin. So I'm getting really uncomfortable and raw with you guys in this video. So you guys will see that and how I kind of came to the different products that I'm using, primarily based around that acne issue. So I hope you guys like it, and let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. First thing I'm gonna do is clip my hair back because it gets in my way. And because I have red hair, if it starts to get in my way, you can really tell when foundation and stuff like that gets in it. So I just like to kind of pin it back out of the way. Now, first thing that I do is I go ahead and prime my face. I usually prime my eyes first and then the rest of my face because I like to go in and do my eyeshadow first. So the primer that I actually use, I've tried a few different kinds. I've tried the Urban Decay primer, and I have actually found that the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer tends to actually work really, really well for me. And it's super cheap. You can pick it up at Walgreens, Target, whatever. So I just take a little bit of that, and then I go ahead and put that on my lids. You don't need very much. A little goes a very long way. So a tube of this stuff is going to last you a really long time. Okay. So then the next thing that I try is I've tried it quite a few different primers for my face and my foundation. And I think this one has finally been my favorite out of the ones that I have used. And one thing I didn't learn until recently is you want to make sure that your primer has the same base as your foundation. So if your foundation's oil-based, you want to make sure your primer is oil-based. If your foundation's water-based, you want to make sure that your primer is water-based as well. So when you look at the ingredients on it, you want to make sure that water is one of the first ingredients or oil is one of the first ingredients on both products to avoid any sort of breakage in your foundation when you go to put it on. So what I'm currently using is the Smashbox Super Light Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. I do want to try the color correcting one, the green one, because obviously I do have some acne here. I've had it my whole life. It is hormonal. I have tried different diets. I have tried different topical creams and all that kind of stuff. It is hormonal based. So that's kind of that. I will have a separate video on stuff that I've used for my acne to help it not be as bad. That time of the week also just came and went. So because it's hormonal acne, that's when it tends to be the worst for me. And then I actually get pretty clear the other 3 weeks of the month until it comes back around. And then it's like, hey, let's take this out on your face. So anyway, so that's the primer that I use. And I just use my fingers. I go in and kind of just rub it all over here. Okay, I'm actually going to prop my mirror up a little higher here because I cannot see what I'm doing. All right. So then I like to go in with my my brush, and I have not gotten super fancy with brushes yet. I do want to try out some higher end brushes, some different types of brushes, but I have been loving these brushes so far. They are the IT Cosmetics brushes. This is C6155. This is their airbrush shadow box. It's all written in silver, so I don't know, yeah, if that'll show up on there. But this is my go-to brush kind of for everything. The rest of the brushes that I'm using are also by IT Cosmetics, except for I think one. I think one of them is Sephora. So I'll go over those for you guys as well. Now today I'm going to use a couple different palettes. And honestly, I don't have kind of a base for what I'm doing with this makeup today. I'm just kind of going, which is kind of what I do every day. But I have a bunch of different palettes that I pull from. Most of them are Naked palettes. I have all of the Naked palettes except for their new Cherry palette, which I really want to try, but it seems very similar to the Heat palette, so I need to compare the two and kind of watch a little more videos on that one just to see. There's also a new palette that I really want to try, and it's the new Gingerbread palette by Urban Decay. I believe it's Urban, or is it Too Faced? I need to double check on that. So it is by Too Faced, this Gingerbread palette, and it looks absolutely amazing. I was at Ulta and I was swatching it. Oh my God, these colors, the pigment in these shadows is ridiculous. So that is a palette I would like to buy and try out for you guys. But yeah, so with my eyeshadow palettes, I have the original Naked palette, which they're getting rid of, which makes me so sad. Then I have the Naked Smoky palette. You can see all of the shades in there. I have the Naked Heat palette. And again, you can see all the different shades in there. I'll probably do a video reviewing all of these. These are my favorite ever. I have the Naked 2 palette. Oop, that one doesn't like to stay open as easily as the others. And then I also have the Naked 3 palette. And this was actually a fantastic Christmas gift from my mom last year, where she gave me every single Naked palette that existed, and I was the happiest person ever because these are by far my favorite palettes of all time. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do more of because I've got this like mustard colored sweater on because it's rainy here and stormy here and I love it. So it's sweater weather. So I'm going to go for more of the browns and the golds and maybe a little bit of this like kind of mustardy color for you guys. So I like to go in with the shade Virgin, this guy right here, and it's almost gone. And this palette's not coming out anymore. That makes me so sad. But I like to go in with that and kind of go all over my whole lid. Ow, I just hit my ankle. That hurt. Okay, so now that I've got that all over my lid, I'm going to go ahead and go in with Naked, and Naked is this guy right here. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with that one, and I'm going to go right into my crease. Oh, you guys cannot see. So I'm just going right into the crease there. I usually take a couple layers just to kind of get that pigment in there, and I kind of swirl it up towards the top just to kind of help blend all of the colors together as we start to kind of pack them on. So then I like to go in with the color Buck, this guy right here. And same thing, I'm gonna go right into the crease. And then just kind of blend that in here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in, and this is, I use a lot of colors, you guys. There's a lot of colors that happen here. So now I'm gonna go in with the color Smog. That guy right there. And same thing. We're just gonna kind of keep packing on some colors here. And this one I don't use too much. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a darker color here. This is the color Dark Horse. And this one I'm gonna stay more towards the outer corner of the eye, and I'm just gonna kind of pack that in. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the color Sin, which is this lighter shimmery shade here, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to just lightly put that up by my brow line here. Give it just a little bit of a highlight. Okay. So now I am actually going to take, and this palette I have not talked about yet, I'm going to take this palette Frost, and it's, by Carity Professional. This palette is gorgeous. It is, I mean, it is just absolutely beautiful. And the pigment on these things, let me show you here. So this is actually a color that we're going to use today. I'm just gonna kind of swatch this for you guys. So if you look, this is, I mean, the pigment on these is just intense. You see that? I mean, these colors are gorgeous. So that is the palette we're gonna go in with now. I am going to take, I'm going to do a couple different colors here, but I'm going to start with the color Nugget. This guy right here, it's like a really pretty, kind of like a gold color. Now I just use my fingers because I feel like if I use a brush on this one, the pigment doesn't come out as well as I want it to. Now if you really want a lot of pigment and you want to use a brush, I would spray some like setting spray or fix spray on your brush and do that. You can also take some extra primer and put it right on the actual part of the lid that you're going to be putting the eyeshadow on, and it'll help with the pigment that way. But this palette is so pigmented, I don't feel that I need that. So I'm just going to go in with my finger, and I'm just going to kind of pat this across here. And I just like to kind of pack it on until it's as bold or as I want it. Okay, I think that's good. And it's gonna look a little weird until we get our eyeliner on there because it is so bold. So now I'm gonna take this kind of golden color here, this Gold Digger, and it's more of a like honey gold color, and I'm gonna kind of pack that in as well to make it look more like this orangey color that my sweater is. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I always like to add a little bit of black. I'm a big smoky eye fan, so I'm always all about the smoky eye. So I'm going to take a little bit of black, and this is my favorite black I have ever used in my life. It is this black color here, and it is in this same Frost eyeshadow palette. It's called Vicious, and you do not need a lot. A little goes a long freaking way with this palette, especially with this black. Like, I barely tapped it in there, and you can see how dark it's already coming out. So I'm just going to do a little bit of that, just kind of on the outer corner here. Okay. Then I'm just going to kind of blend it a little. And sometimes I feel like I need to go back in with just a little more of the color after I do that. So you can do that as needed. Okay. So that is the lids of the shadow. I'm going to keep my shadows handy because I will be doing under eye, but I usually wait until after I put on my concealer and my foundation for that part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my eyeliner. So I've tried a few different eyeliners before, and I'm trying to see if I can find the one I was using before. Oh, this guy. So I was trying this guy, this Maybelline Eye Studio, and it was, I mean, it was good. I liked the way that it went on. I liked that I could use my own brush. When I was doing that, I was using this brush to apply it, and it's the Sephora angle liner brush, and it's this little like sharp guy here. So I was using that, and the issue that I found with that one is that it would actually like, it would kind of gunk up in the corner of my eyes. And I'm the type of person that I line from like corner to corner. And if I put it under my eyes, it would mess my eyes up. And if I was wearing contacts, it was like not fun. So I researched and went to see what other eyeliners were out there that might work well for me. And then I found this Master Precise All Day by Maybelline New York. It is this guy here, and it's got a really nice like fine tip on it. I actually really enjoy this eyeliner, and it's really easy to go on. So I just kind of draw it like right across. It's nice and sharp. One issue I do have with it is sometimes it's a little tricky to get the color out of it. So, I mean, other than that, it's pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and line my eyes here. My liner, I usually kind of change it just depending on whether I'm wearing my false lashes or not. So sometimes I'll do a really thick really thick liner. So if I'm doing my false lashes, I'll do that. If not, if I'm going a little more natural like today, I don't feel like wearing my false lashes, I'm just going to go grab coffee with friends, then I just do a light liner. So and I'm not one of those people, I don't know how people can line their eye without grabbing it. I'm not one of those people, my eyes flutter way too much. So I'm just going to go in here and just kind of draw a line right across and fill in any spots that it didn't quite get. Okay, and I'm gonna do the other eye. Okay, pretty good. So then I'm gonna go ahead and do my, my wing. I'm gonna zoom you guys in for this one. So there's a lot of people that actually have issues doing, doing the wings. So I zoomed you guys in a little bit so that way you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually gonna zoom you guys a little bit more so that way you guys can really see kind of what I do here. So I start with this one, I start from the outside and I draw a line in straight to where my eyeliner is. And then I kind of draw another line connecting them and then I fill it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, so I drew a line across. Now I'm gonna connect them. And this is what I was talking about where I have an issue with this guy getting the color out sometimes. It's like, it's a hit or miss. I like the pigment, I like the applicator, but it's a little finicky sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna do the other one. And they're never perfect. You get what you get. So now I like to go in and line underneath. Now this is gonna be different for everybody's eye shape. Some people, when you line underneath, it makes their eyes look smaller. Some people, it makes it look bigger. My boyfriend has told me he really likes it when I line underneath because it makes the color of my eyes pop because I do have these green eyes. So this is entirely up to you with whatever works best for your eyes. But I'm gonna go ahead and line right underneath. So one thing I like about this eyeliner as well is it is actually very friendly for people who wear contacts, which I am wearing contacts right now, and it does not make my eyes water or itch or anything like that. Irritated, bloodshot, none of it. Okay. So now we're gonna go into foundation. Now my foundation for a while, let me grab it for you guys. So for a while, I was actually using this Tarte Amazonian clay, and I really, really, really liked it. I was using the color Fair Beige here. So I liked it. This was actually my second tube that I bought. I gave it a few months worth of testing, and I needed something matte, and it was a little too grabby at the dry patches that I did have on my skin. Now this is supposed to like soak up the oils on the parts of your face that are more oily, and it's supposed to moisten and soften the areas that are dry on your face. For me, it did well with the oily spots. I was never shiny, but on the dry patches, it just kind of grabbed. And I do exfoliate, I do moisturize, and it was separating, and it was good, but I needed better. So I recently went to Ulta, and I kind of asked them, like what would work best for this, because I loved the Tarte one with the exception of that one issue. And I've tried a few different foundations before. Some of them didn't cover enough. Some of them didn't stay. Some of them I had issues where they were too drying. Others I had issues where they were too shiny. My face is naturally very shiny, so I don't need something that will add shine to it. So they actually recommend the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation Full Coverage Moisturizer. I like this because it does have 50 SPF in it, which they actually always recommend for your skin, no matter what skin type, where you're at, whatever. It's always good to have 50 SPF to protect your face. And this is a water-based foundation here. So it is this guy. And so far, I have been loving it. So I will definitely be grabbing this one again. So for now, what I normally do here is I have my little tray. I do one pump to start. If I need to, I'll do two. Now, what I'll also be doing here is grabbing my my Tarte Shape Tape here. And for colors for you guys, I am white, 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 white. Did Ancestry DNA test. I am white and white and white and white. British and Irish and German and yeah, and Scandinavian, I'm white. I'm as white as they come. Every time I go to find a foundation, they usually have to grab the lightest shade that exists. And even sometimes the lightest shade is not light enough, depending on the brand. So if you are white like me, then this full coverage moisturizer, you're going to want it in the color Fair. And the Tarte Shape Tape I have in Fair Beige. Now I did try the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and it was really shiny. Like this stuff, it's this guy here. This stuff is really, really shiny. I don't know if I can test it and show you guys how shiny this stuff is. When I was using it with the Amazonian clay, it was, I mean, with the Amazonian clay being as matte as it was, this did not work out so well. So I don't know if you can see on my hand how glistening and shiny that is. But when you're trying to conceal things, you don't necessarily want them to glow like a lighthouse on your face. So that did not work out well for me. I have heard nothing but phenomenal things from Shape Tape. And actually the first time I heard about Shape Tape was from Tati. If you guys follow Tati, she is phenomenal when it comes to makeup. And by the way, this video is by no means sponsored by anybody. Tati is actually just somebody that I started watching when I wanted to learn a bit more about how to do makeup properly, because I was never really like a makeup guru, you know. And I freaking wish I had YouTube when I was in high school and middle school and all of that, because I grew up in the era, I'm a 90s baby, and I grew up in the era where we all wore like bright blue, which is actually kind of coming back, but in a more stylish way. But the bright blue, glossy, waxy eyeshadows and like the hot pink lip gloss. Like we all looked like we were like walking bubblegum ads or something. Anyway, I wanted to learn how to do makeup better. So Tati is one that I have followed a ton, and she recommended that Tarte Shape Tape. Figured I'd give it a try. Went to Ulta, picked it up, and have been loving it ever since. So that's my little Shape Tape discovery story. Anyway, so this is all I put on for the foundation. It's not a lot. I'm using my beauty blender, and these beauty blenders are the Real Techniques beauty blenders, and you can pick them up in a 2-pack on Amazon or at Ulta for like $10. I mean, it's pretty cheap. So these are my favorites. I love them. They last a while. I clean them I use bar soap. I can't remember the brand, but I use bar soap and just cleaned it off, and it's been amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with this and just kind of start covering everything up. I'm going to bring you guys down just a little bit. And you never want to like drag. You want to just pat the product in. And you always want to do just a little bit down your neck, just to make sure everything's blended there. Mine's a pretty good color match, so I don't need to do too much of that. And I don't need too much around most of my face. My biggest problem area is my chin, which is a very common breakout area for hormonal acne. So if you have acne and are not sure what's causing it, and it's primarily around your chin, there's a very large chance that you have hormonal-based acne. I did try doing Whole30, but I did the full Whole30. Nothing. No major change in the acne itself, and that is the whole reason I did the 21-day fix. I did, however, lose 2 pounds in my butt, which was like, yay, cool. My butt's always been my problem area weight-wise, so there was some good that came out of it. But I did it for the acne specifically and did not see a change. So that proved to me that it wasn't diet that was causing my acne, which was one thing I thought may have been causing it, and it didn't. So, okay, I'm gonna need a little more here. So I always start with 1 pump because some days, depending on how bad my acne is, I need 1 pump. Sometimes I need 2. And the fact that that time of the week just kind of ended, my acne is at its worst. So I'm going to go in with my Shape Tape, and I'm just going to kind of spot the red spots that I want concealed. I look like I have chicken pox. If any of you guys had chicken pox where you had to put the like itching cream or whatever on the on the spots. I've got a picture of me when I was like, I don't remember how old I was when I had chicken pox. I was like 5. I was really young. And I'm standing there in my underwear, this little 5-year-old, and I'm grumpy, and I've got these spots all over my body from the cream. So it was insane. I looked like Maggie and the Ferocious Beast, if any of y'all watched that show as a kid. So I'm just going to blend these guys in here. Now I've got that theme song stuck in my head, dang it. 90s kids, we had the catchiest theme songs. We had Blue's Clues, and we had Franklin, and we had, what was it, Bear? No. Well, there was Bear in the Big Blue House, but there was another Bear. I don't remember. It was on Nickelodeon. Brother Bear's the movie. There was a bear. There was a little bear, and I don't remember what that show was called. Yeah, I don't remember. If you remember, comment below because I'm drawing a blank. But we had the best TV shows. Now they're all like, I don't know, they're all crazy. I felt like our TV shows had really good like methods and morals to them. Does anybody remember Boy Meets World? That was the best show ever. I loved Boy Meets World. And funny enough, as a kid, I did not realize how religious that show was until I got older and rewatched it. And then as an adult, it's still a great show because you can relate to them so much more than you could when you were like 10 years old and Corey and Topanga are getting married and like breaking up and all that kind of stuff. It's a great show for all ages of all the time. I feel like This Is Us is like today's Boy Meets World, but better. If you love This Is Us, comment below. I love that show. I love that show. I love that show. I love that show. I love Jack. Jack kind of reminds me of my boyfriend. They look very similar to me. And I love Mandy Moore. And I think, who's your favorite, if you watch This Is Us, who's your favorite This Is Us character? I think Randall is my favorite. I love him. He tries to do good for everybody all the time. And sometimes he just gets the shit end of the stick for it. And I feel really bad. Anyway, so now I've got my foundation on here. I'm going to go ahead and use Tarte, and I'm going to go under the eye. It has been a long weekend. I stayed out till 2:30 in the morning at a country bar on Friday night, which was so much fun. We have a local country bar here called Stoney's, and I love dancing. I love to line dance. I don't even need alcohol. Like, just give me the dance floor and teach me a dance, and I'm there. I was a theater kid, so I can't really freestyle dance very much unless I have a lot of alcohol in me. But you teach me a dance and put on an upbeat good song, and I am there. So we went and did that. There was a free concert there, so it was Jake Rose, really good country singer. Check him out. Really good music, really, really, really good music. So check him out if you haven't. And so we saw him, we rode bulls, we did the whole thing. And then yesterday, I crashed my friend's 10-year reunion because they were all my friends in high school. I'm not really friends with too many people that were in my class. Most of my friends were actually in their class that graduated 2 years before me. So I went there, saw them last night, drank a little, ate a little, and now today I'm having coffee with some of them, and yeah, busy weekend. So now I'm gonna go in with this Jordana Sculpt and Go Creamy Contour Stick. It is this guy here, and this is in the shade Shocker Light because I'm so freaking white. So I like to go in with this guy. This is another thing that's going to be different for everybody. You want to contour where the shadows naturally fall on your face. So I usually go in right into my cheek. Actually, technically my cheekbone. I like to do a little bit right on the forehead, and then I like to go in down the sides of my nose and a little bit on my jawline, and that is it. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little extra, I'll do a little more on my cheekbones, but usually just one little swivel will do the trick. So then I take my beauty blender, and again, I just kind of pat that all in. And again, you don't want to swoosh or drag, because that is going to drag your foundation and your makeup all over the place. So you just want to pat it in. I have had it sometimes where I have forgotten to pat my nose. I don't know why I always forget my nose, but I do. Sometimes somebody will be like, oh, you have something on your nose. And it's like, oh, I forgot to freaking blend my contour. But easy fix, not a big problem. Okay, so I've got all of that there. Cool. Now I'm going in. I used to use a couple different blushes. Powder does not work for my face. It doesn't. It gets way too dry. I can't do powder on my face at all. So I was using this Milani blush, and it's Baked Powder Blush. Rose d'Oro is the color. It is a very beautiful blush. So if you do use powder blush, this is something you can pick up at your local Walgreens, CVS. It's amazing. It is very beautiful, and it has these little like gold flakes in it. and it just is a really nice, shimmery, beautiful blush. But because I have to use all creams, I recently went and picked up this L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Shaping Blush Stick. And I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm enjoying the color. It is the Color Cheeky Dimension number 46. So I am really enjoying this one. So I'm gonna go in and I usually put, I start small and then you can pack it on. Do not start with too much, you can't go back. So I do a little bit on my cheek here, and then I go up my cheekbone, and then I use my handy dandy beauty blender and I just kind of pat that in. I also had an issue with powder blushes staying on my face, and it's like they would just fall right back off, and I would just look washed out in a matter of like 15 minutes. It was insane. So cream blush kind of helps alleviate that issue for me. So I think I want just a little more, not too much. Okay, I think that gives me a nice little color there. Nothing too crazy, just a little natural rose there. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go in and do the underneaths of my eye, and I'm going to go back into my my Frosty palette here, and I am going to go back into this really pretty nugget color here. And I'm going to go under the eye. Okay. Do the same thing on the other one. Okay. And now I'm going to go in with that Gold Digger color. It's this other kind of gold one that we used before. I'm going to do kind of the outer half of my eye. And again, if you want these colors to be more bold, add some primer under there, or use a setting spray on your brush, and that will have the colors pop even more. For me, I want the color, I want the pop, but I don't want to get too crazy here. So then I'm going to go in with the black, and again, I'm going to use just a very, 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 very small amount because it is so pigmented. And I'm just going to do that on the very outer corner. Okay, it's Halloween. Well, in a week. How many of you guys are watching American Horror Story right now? Because I'm dying. This season is so good. I love that no spoilers here, so if you haven't watched it yet, I'm not gonna spoil it. But they have already announced, even before the season aired, that they were incorporating Coven and Murder House into this season. They also incorporated Hotel, more than I thought they would so far. But Murder House and Coven were my two favorite seasons that American Horror Story has ever done, and I am obsessed. I love it, and I am very, very pleased with how they are integrating them into this season. So if you are American Horror Story fans, let me know what your thoughts are of this season below. Please don't spoil it for anybody. Just let me know if you like it. I hate it when people spoil TV shows for me. I'm watching The Walking Dead right now too, and I'm actually very surprised that I haven't started the most recent season yet. I'm watching season 8. But I'm very surprised that something that happened in that season did not get spoiled for me since it was a year ago. Very, very, very happy with that because I would have been very sad if that would have gotten spoiled beforehand. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and do my brows. Now, my brows have always been a big pain in the ass for me because my hair is naturally blonde. And it's not like platinum blonde, it's like a dusty blonde. And it was platinum when I was a kid, and then it turned into more of like a natural dusty blonde. And my eyebrows have always been this, let me zoom you in and I'll show you how dark my eyebrows are. So if you look at my eyebrows, they're like this really dark, not super dark brown, but they are a darker brown, and they're darker than my natural color. So people always thought that I was dyeing my hair blonde and that I was a natural brunette because of the shade of my brows. So now that I've got this like super vibrant red hair, it makes it even trickier to figure out my brows. So this I actually just started doing like a week ago. I've always used shadows. Well, not always, but within the past year, I started using shadows for my brows because it's softer, it's easier to wash off, it looks more natural. So I'm using shadows for my brows. So I'm actually starting to use, this is the Urban Decay Heat Palette, and I've been using this shade En Fuego, which is actually very similar to my hair color. And I've been using that in combination with this shade from the Smoky palette called Whiskey, which is this shade right there. So I've been using those two in combination for my brows, and it's been working pretty well for me. So I'm going to go in with this En Fuego color. I am using this brush. Oh, and I didn't, oh God. Okay. I did not tell you what brush I was using for under my eyes. Bad me. So I was using the Sephora Precision Shadow Brush. So this guy here. So I was using that brush. This guy like right there. That's what I was using for under my eyes when I was doing that. So now I'm using this brush. It actually came with, there was a whole Urban Decay Naked 3 eyeshadow or brush set that came out. So I am using one of those. It doesn't have a name, I just looked, but it's this little skinny guy. So I'm using that for my brows. So I start with this En Fuego color, and I kind of go not fully to the front of my brow. I kind of start like a quarter of the way back and just kind of trace my eyebrow shape all the way around to the end. And then I do it again on the top. And I do get my eyebrows threaded for the shape. When I was in middle school, I thought I was so good at plucking my eyebrows, and I plucked them, and they started back here. I looked like a cartoon character. It was awful. And so after that, when I learned that eyebrow threading was a thing and I didn't have to pluck my eyebrows anymore, I didn't have to worry about the shape of my eyebrows anymore, I've been threading ever since because it just is so much easier because I am not good at plucking and shaping my eyebrows. I actually was one of those people that was using the eyebrow stencils for the longest time. It's awful. It's so bad. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the Smoky palette, and I'm going to do the same exact thing and just go over where I put the red. I'm just going to go all the way over. Okay. And I did just realize I forgot one part of my eyes that I like to do, and I like to go in with a like light shimmery color. So I'm just, since I've got this palette open, I'm just going to use the color High in the Smoky palette and just go right into the inner corner of my eyes and just do a little pop of shimmer and color there. Okay. So now that I've got the color on my brows, I'm going to go ahead and take just a little spoolie brush here. You can use any spoolie brush. This I got from It Cosmetics. It's their Brow Power. It's got an actual little pencil in it, but I don't like the pencil, so I'm just using a little spoolie brush. So I start by brushing down and back and blending in the color that I did on top. Then I go up and start brushing forward to kind of brush the color that I had back here forward into the front portion of my brows. Just very lightly, and it just blends the color towards the front for a more natural looking brow. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm not a fan of the big like box line brow look. It just does not work for me. So I like to use this method and go for a more natural approach. And that does it. Yep, that does it. Okay. So now what I do here is I go into my highlight, which I have two different highlights, just depending on the day. So I have this Bare Minerals contour palette. It is a trio blush contour highlight palette. I also have this Wet n Wild highlighting powder, which I actually really, really love. So if I've got more of a pinky look going on, I will use the Wet n Wild one because it does have a pink tint to it. But if I want more of a light, just kind of naturally highlight, then I'll go into the Bare Minerals ones, which is what I'm doing here. And I just kind of grab some and brush it right along the top of my cheekbone here. Now sometimes I have a hard time kind of grabbing it, so I may need to use a different brush and pack it in that way. Sometimes I even use my finger. It just depends on how the palette's feeling here. Okay. There we go. So I think that is good there. Sometimes I will find that I have a stubborn pimple, like I've got one right here. So I will have to go in sometimes after the fact and recover that back up. Easy fix. Okay, so now last thing is going to be the lashes. Like I said, sometimes I go in and do my false lashes. I do also have two different types of mascara that I use. It just depends on what I'm feeling like that day. But I do always go in and curl my lashes first. I do have long lashes, so this helps kind of keep them in control because they like to hug each other sometimes after I put on mascara, my lower lashes and my upper lashes, and it is obnoxious. So sometimes I use this, which I actually got for free in a pack when I bought my foundation like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So this is the It Cosmetics Superhero mascara. This is actually really smooth. It's really nice. I love this mascara. But when I want a little bit more boom to my eyes, it doesn't work as well. So and again, this was another recommendation by Tati. It is the L'Oreal, right? L'Oreal? Yeah, L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara. And this stuff is the bomb. I love it. And then I also just recently picked up this Lash Paradise primer, because one thing with my lashes, because they are so long naturally, they like to kind of clump together, which I don't have that issue with the IT Cosmetics mascara. Something about the formula. It's so smooth. It's like butter. So I use this primer to start. I don't use a lot of it. If you use too much of this, your eyelashes will clump together. It's awful. So I just go into the tips, really, with this guy. And it's supposed to kind of help lengthen and separate the lashes a bit. But I only use a little bit. Okay. Looks kind of crazy at first. So then I go in with my Lash Paradise. I actually should probably buy some more soon. So I go in with this. Oh no, I'm having issues. Oh crap. Mascara problems. Sometimes you think you have all the extra off of your mascara and you don't. So I'm gonna go in with this little one because I'm having issues with the other one with my lower lashes over here. Okay. Yeah. Not that bad. Okay. So that is that. I usually go ahead and set it. So I usually set my makeup with this tea tree water from Lush. And it tends to work really well for me. And I don't do much with my lips, to be completely honest. I have not found a lip product that I like. I don't like the waxy feeling of lipsticks. I do have a lip plumping lip gloss. It's by one of Walgreens brands. So I've been recently kind of trying that. It's not bad. It's not amazing. I have lip scents. But I just hate having to apply the gloss on top of it all day long. So I prefer to go natural lip any chance I can get, honestly. All the liquid lips I've tried have been super drying, so I haven't had any luck with those yet. But, I mean, what can you do? So I'm going to do my hair and show you guys the final look. So makeup is done, hair is done, all is good. Thankfully my hair was still a little curled from last night, so I didn't have to do too much to it to get it done. But I hope you enjoyed getting ready with me today. And if you have questions, let me know. Just go ahead and post them in the comments below. Again, this video is not sponsored by anybody. This is all just based on what I do on a regular basis. And again, I wish I would have had this kind of stuff when I was growing up, because it would have helped a ton. But thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this one, hit the subscribe button. I will also be posting more videos. I travel a lot for work and for personal, so I'm going to be posting videos about travel and what to do. And me and my little sister are actually going to Disneyland next week, so I'll be posting about that, different foods and rides and everything. We practically live there, so so we'll be sharing our favorite stuff from that. So if you guys want to see more of that, let me know as well. And I'm trying to figure out whether I want to make these all one channel or different channels, have a channel just for beauty and makeup, and having a separate channel for travel and having a separate channel for singing stuff. Let me know what you guys think, or do you guys just kind of want to subscribe to one and see them all? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.